Monaco is not a place. It is a state of mind. As twilight descends upon the cliffs of the Côte d'Azur, this principality performs a ritual of dual existence. By day, Monaco is an open-air museum where tourists from all corners of the globe come seeking check-in photos outside the palace. But when the sun retreats, making way for neon purples and golden hues, a second Monaco truly awakens. This is the subject we shall dissect today: the stratification of luxury. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive explorations. In a nation with the world's highest concentration of millionaires, luxury is no longer measured by tangible goods. It resides in the rhythm of life and how humans interact with space. Observe how the valets receive the keys, an absolute transfer of trust in just a few seconds. Or the way those behind the wheel stop in front of the casino square. Not a single screech of the brakes, not a single redundant rev of the engine. That is the rhythm of those who have moved past the stage of needing to prove themselves. Here, we draw a small lesson in perceived value. True luxury always accompanies restraint. When you have everything, the only things you lack are privacy and stillness. That is why in Monaco, roaring engines are only for newcomers, while real power chooses to operate in near absolute silence. We often mistakenly believe that power in Monaco is expressed through figures on price tags. But I want to invite you to look from a different, perhaps more theatrical perspective. Power here is the ability to command time and attention. When an influential figure appears, the world around them seems to slow down. The crowd automatically parts. Loud conversations turn into whispers, and the entire square suddenly becomes a stage where they are the director. Power does not lie in which car you own, but in whether you can master the surrounding atmosphere when you step out of that car. Luxury in Monaco, therefore, is not just the accumulation of material wealth, but a high-level psychological game. It is the contrast between the ostentatious ego of the outside world and the silent lion rule of the internal elite. A social ecosystem where sophistication is honed into a razor-sharp weapon, sufficient to classify who is a participant and who is merely an observer. But to operate such a perfect play of power, there must be representative faces, those who dare to step out of the shadows of wealth to become living icons. And right now, we will go deep into the heart of the night, where one character has turned his very presence into a myth in the heart of the principality. In a society built on mysterious layers like Monaco, decoding an individual is not simply a matter of looking up an asset list. The theme of this section is identity architecture. In Monaco, people don't just buy the most expensive items. They buy stories that make the world look up. And no story is more intriguing than the parallel existence between Zeus, the god of the Monte Carlo night, and Elanto Biana, a man of everyday reality. The fact that a successful real estate lawyer like Elanto Biana decided to create the avatar Zeus was a strategic move of soft power. In the context of Monaco, where wealth easily becomes saturated and boring, Elanto understood that to become immortal in the public mind, you must become an icon, not just a billionaire. He did not choose to appear in dry financial newspapers. He chose Casino Square as his stage and the camera flashes of car spotters as his media medium. Here we find a profound cognitive lesson in modern psychology. The boundary between privacy and publicity is the most powerful shield of power. Ilanto keeps his family and his life as a lawyer in absolute darkness, while pushing the character of Zeus into the brightest light. The lesson here is, you are only truly free when you master what the world knows about you. Mystery is not about hiding everything, but about knowing how to display the most brilliant things to protect what is most precious. I want to offer a new perspective for you to contemplate. In Monaco, power sometimes does not lie in the bank balance, but in the ability to transform. Ilanto Biana does not possess billions of dollars like the faceless oil tycoons in their penthouses. But Zeus possesses the attention of the entire internet. In the digital economy era, attention is a new type of currency. Ilanto performed a hack of the social system. He used a sufficient amount of capital to create a massive personal brand value, making even those wealthier than him wonder, who is this man who can make all of Monaco hold its breath? The transformation from an elegant lawyer to a legendary god is not showing off. It is a test of intelligence and the understanding of human behavior. It shows that power in Monaco has evolved. It is no longer about thick stone walls or escorting bodyguards, but the ability to control the perception of the masses through image and aura. But a god, no matter how powerful, needs a temple and courtiers to consolidate his reign. The mystery of Zeus would not be complete without other iconic characters, those who helped turn an individual into a cultural institution in this principality. In the social structure of Monaco, an individual, no matter how outstanding, cannot create a lasting legend without the surrounding ecosystem. The theme of this section is symbiotic validation. In a place where anyone can rent a supercar or buy a bespoke suit, the difference between an understudy and a god lies in those standing next to them. To build a modern Mount Olympus in the heart of Monte Carlo, Zeus gathered around him irreplaceable pieces, exquisite beauty, and supreme skill. The presence of the goddess Aphrodite, Rebecca Vosu, and the warrior Ares, Mohammed Hamdi, is not merely decoration for the frame. This is a strategy of value stratification. Hamdi, as a professional Ferrari racer, brings something that money cannot buy instantly: credibility. In Monaco, people may respect your wallet, but they only truly take their hats off to your skill. When a track champion stands beside you, your power is no longer a hypothesis. It is guaranteed by real achievements and vocal numbers from the Scuderia track. From this combination, we recognize a small cognitive lesson. Your value is often defined by those around you. In the high society world, a relationship is not just an acquaintance, it is a form of collateral. Choosing companions strictly is how you set the boundaries for your class. Don't just seek attention, seek validation from those who are already at the peak. I invite you to reflect on a new perspective. Power in Monaco is not an independent block, but a network of complementary values. Look at the Batmobile, a bizarre machine based on a Lamborghini. It is a symbol of breaking the rules. While other billionaires try to blend into standard luxury, Zeus's group chooses to challenge it. The new perspective here is, ultimate power does not lie in complying with traditional rules, but in the ability to create a distinct subculture within an already very strict culture. They don't just live in Monaco, they create a Monaco of their own. The resonance between beauty, skill, and one-of-a-kind machines has turned each of their appearances into a modern religious ritual. The crowd does not just look at Zeus, they look at that entire mobile temple and wonder about the hidden laws operating beneath. But if these flashy characters and vehicles are the body, what is the soul? What has kept this kingdom of the night from collapsing under the weight of ostentation? That is when we must go deeper into the core of elite thinking, a silent but powerful rule of conduct that the elite always keep close to their hearts. In Monaco, there is a truth never written on billboards, but etched into the soul of every resident. The louder the sound, the lower the status. The theme of this section is the silent lion philosophy. In an ecosystem where luxury has become as natural as breathing, what you own is no longer as important as how you present yourself with it. The elite here operate based on an unspoken rule. Real power does not need to roar to prove its existence. Observe how a character like Zeus appears. There is no haste, no redundant gestures to attract attention. Silence here is the highest form of couture, an absolute confidence that the surrounding space will automatically adjust to accommodate their presence. This is not arrogance, but an understanding of social gravity. When you are heavy enough, everything will naturally orbit around you without you having to utter a single word. From here we draw a small cognitive lesson for life. Composure is the pinnacle of resistance. In a world going mad over self-display, maintaining silence, privacy, and moderation is the strongest way to assert class. Do not mistake silence for passivity. The lion is silent not because it is afraid, but because it is completely mastering the game. I want to offer a new perspective for you to reflect on power in this principality. In Monaco, silence is a luxury privilege. Only those who truly hold power or have reached a state of absolute financial freedom have the ability to maintain silence amidst the crowd. The new perspective here is, we often consider power as the ability to speak up, but at the peak of Monaco society, power is the ability not to need to speak up. It is a shift from coercive power to natural power, where your presence carries more weight than 10,000 boastful words. Analyzing further, this philosophy is also a cultural filter. It separates the nouveau riche, who always crave recognition through thunderous engine noises, from the old kings, who always protect their status with minimalist elegance. In Monaco, the more silent you are, the more mysterious you become, and the more mysterious, the more infinite your power becomes in the eyes of the observer. However, this philosophy does not only exist in thought, it is embodied through practical actions, rituals that take place at the most special moments of the night. That is when silence, power, and mechanical machines converge to create the ultimate performance of the high-end lifestyle. After lifting the veil of mystery regarding the character Zeus and the hidden rules of the Monte Carlo night, a grand question remains within us. Ultimately, what is supreme luxury? The theme of this conclusion is value distillation. In Monaco, we have seen that supercars, watches, or bespoke suits are merely accessories of power, not power itself. Supreme luxury does not lie in the possession of material things, but in the freedom to live according to standards set by oneself, despite the noise of the outside world. Through this journey, we draw a small lesson of deep cognitive value. Real class is when you no longer need validation from those not at your level. Ilantobiana created Zeus not to beg for attention, but to build his own playground, his own legend. The lesson here is, focus on honing yourself to the point where your presence is itself a message, instead of trying to scream to be heard. I want to invite you to reflect on one final new perspective. In Monaco, ultimate power is the complete control over one's own secrets. In an era where everything is exposed on social media, the ability to keep family, private life, and core values safe under the mask of an icon is a superior kind of intelligence. This new perspective shows, luxury is not about displaying everything you have, but knowing exactly what to hide to maintain the allure of mystery. Analyzing further, we see Monaco as a lens reflecting human aspirations. It is not just a place to spend money, but a place to test the limits of poise and confidence. The transformation from an ordinary individual into a legend here is a testament to the fact that, when you understand the rules of the game and master your emotions, you can turn an entire city into your private stage. The story of the Monaco Knight and the Silent Lion philosophy will continue, because the elite world always moves in orbits that the naked eye can hardly fully grasp. But hopefully, through these analyses, you have found a new lens to observe luxury. A lens that goes through the material shell to touch the essence of elite thinking. If you feel the value from these deep observations and analyses, take a second to hit like and subscribe to the channel. That is the most subtle way for us to continue accompanying each other on our next journeys into the elite world. Thank you for going deep into the Monaco Night with me. Remember, sometimes silence is the most eloquent statement.